Welcome to the Explainer. So, picture this. You wake up on payday, you grab your phone, check your bank app, and boom, your paycheck just hit. And for, a few fleeting minutes, you actually feel rich. The possibilities seem literally endless. Maybe you're thinking about ordering some crazy expensive takeout, grabbing those new shoes you've been eyeing for weeks, or finally buying that smart toaster you definitely, absolutely do not need. But then, fast forward just a week later, and reality sets in. You log back into that exact same app, the account is practically empty, and that familiar sinking wave of anxiety washes right over you.
Okay, let's dive into this. Because trust me, you are not alone here. Where did all my money go is a question pretty much everyone has asked themselves at some point. We all get caught up in this wild 24-hour payday spending spree. It's a universal trap. It leaves us completely baffled, wondering how a brand new paycheck can just vanish into thin air so incredibly fast. Now, a lot of us convince ourselves, right, that if we just made a little bit more money, this whole problem would magically disappear. But here's the fascinating and honestly kind of shocking truth about that exact assumption.
Right now, millions of people out there earning $40,000 a year are struggling with an empty bank account. Now, it's super common to look at this number and think, well, yeah, of course, life is really expensive right now. And it is. But here's the catch. This is absolutely not just a low-income problem. Because even when we scale that income right up to $70,000 a year, the story doesn't change one bit. People hitting this exact income bracket are still experiencing that exact same payday illusion, followed by the exact same mid-month panic. Simply earning more money doesn't naturally solve the core issue we're talking about here. And no way, it goes even higher. There are literally millions of Americans earning well over six figures, $100,000 a year or more, who are still living paycheck to paycheck. Actually, let me put that into perspective for a second. Over half of all six-figure earners report living paycheck to paycheck. Just let that sink in for a moment. The real problem isn't your income. The real problem is what happens in those crucial make-or-break first 24 hours after getting paid. And in today's Explainer, we're going to break down exactly why this happens and, more importantly, how you can fix it.
Section 1. The Reverse Budgeting Trap.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core divide. See, the average person treats payday like a spontaneous reward. They spend first on fun, impulse buys, then they pay their bills, and finally they try to save whatever happens to be left over, which, let's be totally honest with ourselves, is usually absolutely nothing. But financially successful people, they do the exact opposite. They treat payday like a structured business transaction. They save first, then pay their bills, and only spend what's left after that.
This backward approach is what we call reverse budgeting. And honestly, this completely validates your frustration because it is a massive systemic flaw in how we are all taught to handle our money. Here's the truth. Your paycheck already has a job before it even reaches your account. If you don't assign every single dollar a clear purpose, your spending habits will do it for you. And if left completely undirected, money naturally flows toward convenience, emotions, and impulse. It definitely does not naturally flow toward wealth.
Which brings us to another massive trap, lifestyle inflation. Imagine you finally land that big raise at work. Awesome, right? But instead of investing that extra cash, you upgrade to a much nicer apartment, you lease a newer car, you start eating out way more often, and you add like 5 new streaming subscriptions just to watch one specific show. In no time, your expenses have risen just as fast as your income. So even though you're technically making more money on paper, you don't actually feel a single bit richer. You are effectively keeping yourself broke despite a higher salary, totally trapped in the exact same financial stress.
So I really want you to remember this one phrase. Income doesn't build wealth. Systems do. That's a real game changer. When the wealthy see their income go up, they increase their investing long before they ever increase their spending. That's the secret right there. That is exactly how wealth grows quietly over time, just running in the background without you even having to think about it. Section 2. Pay yourself first. The wealthy system. So the crucial point is that automation removes emotion. The very moment your paycheck arrives, before paying for entertainment, before shopping, before a single impulse purchase happens, a percentage must automatically go toward your future. We're not talking about what's left over at the end of the month. We're talking about the absolute first money that leaves your account. Because if you automatically transfer money toward your future before you even see it, you simply won't miss it. And over the years, those quiet automatic transfers snowball into life-changing investments.
Let's actually look at how this plays out visually. Imagine you take home a $3,000 monthly paycheck. Under a pay-yourself-first system, your very first automatic transfers might be, say, 10% to investments and 10% to savings. That still leaves a massive 80% chunk of your money, which is $2,400 in this example, left over to pay your bills and enjoy completely guilt-free spending. Making your future a priority doesn't mean you can't have fun. It just means you secure your wealth first and then enjoy the rest.
Section 3. The 4 Paycheck Killers. Destroying your money. All right, here they are, the 4 main culprits. Number 1, impulse purchases. Look, most buying decisions are highly emotional. Stores, apps, algorithms, they literally know exactly how to push your emotional buttons. I mean, that's exactly why those bright, shiny buy now buttons exist. Number 2, subscriptions. These things silently drain hundreds of dollars from your account every single month for services you completely forgot you even signed up for. Number 3, credit cards. They create this really dangerous illusion of wealth. But remember, it's just your future income paying for today's spending. And number 4, trying to impress people. Buying expensive clothes or luxury cars just to impress others is a total losing game. Most people aren't even impressed anyway. They're way too busy worrying about their own credit card debt. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the massive difference between these two goals. Looking rich is a temporary illusion. It's loud, it's incredibly expensive, and frankly, it keeps you broke. Becoming rich, on the other hand, is an actual, quiet goal. It's all about building permanent wealth over time, completely out of the spotlight. You really have to choose which of these two you actually want for your life.
Section 4. The Wealth Building Formula. A simple payday system.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a foolproof, 5-step system that you can use right away. Step 1. You receive your paycheck. Easy enough. Step 2. You automatically move money into your savings and investments. Step 3. You pay your essential bills. Things like housing, utilities, and transportation. Step 4. You set aside a little money for future goals, like building an emergency fund or planning a vacation. And finally, Step 5. You spend whatever remains completely guilt-free. The whole shebang. This formula gives every single dollar a distinct direction. Money loves direction. Without it, it just magically disappears. But with this system in place, you will never have to wonder where your money went ever again.
So the absolutely biggest takeaway from today's explainer is this. Your paycheck is not meant to make you feel rich for just one single weekend. It is supposed to make your future richer every single month. Every 2 weeks, you're making a huge decision. You are actively choosing between buying a fleeting moment of temporary happiness or building lasting, permanent freedom.
You see, the people who actually become financially independent aren't necessarily the ones making the most money. They are simply the ones making better decisions with the money they already have. So right before you spend your very next paycheck, I want you to stop and ask yourself, will this purchase make my future self thankful or just my present self happy? That single question could honestly change your financial life forever.